Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket. As per usual, we're here pre-match for the preview, in this case, of day 4. Day 4 of the test match with both Kohli on 22, joined by Jadeja on, I'm not sure how many Jadeja actually, how many runs is Jadeja? He is 9. Yeah, 9 runs, correct. And the score is 3 for 270, and India are now technically ahead by 171 runs, which is a magnificent position to be in. We have been joined by Nilakshi Sharma, who has just finished her studies, her Bachelor of Science degree in Assam, correct? How are you, Nilakshi?
Yeah, I'm good, Norman.
That's good. Your camera's settled? It's fine. It's good. You can hear me loud and clear. You don't need headphones. It's very good. Very good. So you are qualified with a Bachelor of Science degree.
Yes.
What about the subject of cricket? Did you pass that?
Yeah, it's up to you whether you're gonna give me that certificate or not.
Well, I think you're doing very well. Don't worry. So we're joined by a number of people. Ashaz is here. What's your score prediction for the Indian lead? I'm going to say I'm hoping that they get 320 is the lead they'll get. It all depends on how well they start the day. Look, they could fall within 50 runs or they can get 150 runs. They need 150 runs to make this game extremely close. England will struggle to get 320 on this wicket, even though it's a pretty good batting strip. The scoreboard pressure will be incredible. So Rohit Sharma, Nilakshi, got 127, didn't he?
Yeah, he was excellent, Norman. Both his defenses and techniques were really excellent yesterday, and he looks a pretty fine test match player now. Defenses and techniques were really excellent yesterday, and he looks a
Keep talking.
fine test match player.
Keep talking. You're talking on two. Okay, sorry, that was a recording. So go ahead. You were saying he's looked excellent. Nilakshi?
Yeah, yes. No, I said he'll be fine test match player now.
Well, he looks like a real test player, exactly. He scored the most runs this calendar year for India. He scored it looks like over 1,000 runs in this particular period. It's his 8th test century. Hit it magnificently with a 6 over deep mid-on.
First test century in outside India.
Correct. Very, very big deal. And I think he has really mastered the conditions in England and bats late. The ball is under his helmet. Very, very good. Who is she? Sorry, for the first time. Patricia Roy. Nilakshi has been here for almost 6 months now? When did you first start?
January.
Can't hear you. January. Literally, was it really January?
Yeah, it was January.
The first time you were on the show was in January?
Yes.
Do you know how many times you've been on the show now? At a guess.
More than 10, I think.
Yeah, definitely more than 10 times. So Pratiush Roy, Lakshi's been here. She is from Assam in India, knows a lot about cricket, and I'm bringing her on to help with everybody. So Marcus Lawrence is now messaging me saying it's cloudy this morning, getting brighter with sun this afternoon. That's the message from our friend. You know Munshi, don't you? No, actually, you know Munshi. So it's cloudy this morning, getting brighter with sun this afternoon, muggy. Batting day it should be. Well, that's only going to help India, isn't it, in terms of their start? If they can get through the early stages of the first hour, and Kohli and the likes of, say, Jadeja or maybe Haranahani are there after the first session, it gives plenty of time for the likes of everyone from Punt to Shardul Thakur to actually have a good old red hot go, and that's middle session. and we could see a lead of at least, if it goes to plan, 320. That's the ideal situation. But if India falter, they could be leading by, as low as 250. Obviously, they want to get more than 250. They want to get at least what England scored in the first inning, which was 290 and lead, and probably hopefully more, so that they can really cement this. It's going to depend on the way that Virat Kohli, Jadeja, and Rahane take care of. It's up to those three gentlemen to take care of the first session between them. And then the second session is where. Sorry?
250 still chaseable. So I think 300 would be a decent score, decent target, but 350 will be too much for England.
350, you think?
No, I'm just saying that 350 will be too much for England.
Oh, for sure. You would think so, but I think to get 350, India will have to bet back into the last session of the day. And they probably, this time around, they can't afford to be playing too long. They've got to get, I think, England in the last session of the day as much as possible and take 3 or 4, if not 5 wickets and be in ascendancy. That's the issue they have. Okay. And as I said, Ashaz, that should be after the tea break. Norman, how do you see India bench strength? In my opinion, no country can match India's bench strength currently. Pawan Kumar, you're right. I would argue they have some of the best players that are there waiting to play. And England do as well, by the way. And Amlan, here we go. Amlan Bora, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Being the 5th of September, 2021. It's your birthday. Very good. Happy birthday. 370 will be a safe score for India. 370 ahead, that means 200 runs. That means they're batting the majority of the day into the last session. They don't want to give England a chance to draw this. They want to win this. So take a bit of a risk up. But see, scoring another 200 runs will mean that India will score 470. That innings is too big. A little bit unrealistic. Well, let's just wait and see. If Jadeja does well today, can we see more of him at number 5, or is it just one thing? Well, they look like they certainly do want to keep. Did you see that? No, actually, Jadeja batted up the order. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's better to have. No, I think Jadeja is a fine player. If you see that number 5, it's better to have Jadeja than Rahane.
Why?
You see, Rahane is not in his good form. He's not even consistent. That's why Jadeja took his place.
That's partly the reason, but I think it's also the fact that he's a left-hander, and it breaks the right-hander and left-hander combination up. And actually, I think it's also that. But here we have Harsha. Harsha saying that punt is crucial. He certainly is, but I'll tell you what, Shardul Thakur could be equally as crucial. He has proven to be a match for them both. Sorry, guys, I'm just finishing off something here. I can't afford to let it go cold. Hang on. All right. Move that over here. So what have you liked the most about the test so far, Milakshi? What have you liked the most?
I think the fight back from India I think I like that most.
So it is great. Now, how would you pronounce this? Barigamoni Deka wants to know your name. It's Lakshi Sharma. Right? Lakshi was here earlier on in the year. Not that. How long ago? How many weeks has it been? First test, was it?
Sorry?
Were you here for the first test of this series?
Yeah.
So you've missed the second and third test, and you're here for the fourth. That's good. So you're from Kamrup? Is that where you're from? No. Where in Assam are you from again, Milakshi?
Sorry, what did you say?
What part of Assam are you from again?
Oh, Guwahati.
Okay, because they're saying Kamrup. Where's that? That's not, I'm not sure that's played. Okay. All right, let's move on. Punt will be fine if we had to replace him, which I don't think we should. It has to be Saha because Kale Rahul isn't a good keeper, in my opinion. Well, Ashaz, I think there's been no chance. Is it lagging? I'm not sure. Can you hear me, guys, clearly? Just tell me, you can hear me, can't you, Nilakshi, as I speak?
I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Can we see Sky number 4 instead of Rahane for the Manchester test? Amlan Bora, I don't think there's any chance of them dropping any of the ending batting lineup for the next test. Especially if they win, they're not changing anything. Any will feel safe. I think 320 is enough. I think 320 is more than enough. Anything more than that's going to make it impossible. So, like this Amlan is saying he's from Nagoon. Do you know what that is?
Oh, I know this place. I've been to this place on December.
Really?
Yeah, my relative's house is there.
How far is it from where you live now?
It's not that far actually. It's like something 1.5 hour like that.
Okay.
I live near.
Okay. Can England do the heroics like the Gabon? Of course they could. It'll take a guy like Chris Wokes to do that. India have got to get Root out early and get into their batting lineup as quickly as possible. Milan is also very good. Pope proved himself in the first innings. Bairstow can bat. Moeen Ali can bat. There's quite a few players. Chris Wokes, but there isn't a Ben Stokes in the team, thank gosh. What do you think about Krishna Singh? What do you think of Krishna Singh saying about that Java guy? You know, that big guy that ran on the field now. What do you think? It's funny at first, but now it's probably not funny, is it?
No, I don't think it's funny. It's like it seemed pretty idiotic to me.
Yeah.
And he got arrested. I saw he got arrested. They were showing in YouTube like he got arrested for like 3 years or something.
What? It put in jail for 3 years? No. What?
Yeah, for assaulting Johnny Barresto.
I don't think it'll be 3 years. That would be too heavy a sentence. I think he'll find that one. That may be the heaviest fine. He won't get that. If there was a replacement, I don't think Sky would replace Rahane. It would be Mayank Agarwal. Yeah, I agree. Ashaz, Sky is not the first choice. It'll be Agarwal or Vihari, but Rahane's not going anywhere, I'm afraid. So 120 kilometers from Guwahati. Is that right? Okay, guys.
Yeah.
So, Simon Awashi, Indonesia elite at least 350 plus to feel relaxed. They may be relieved, but that may take too long. To be ahead by 350, they have to score, around 200 runs more, and that's a big ask. Really, it is for their batting lineup. If they lose a couple of wickets, it's a big ask. Realistically, 120 to 150 is going to be what they're going to get. Let's be realistic, guys. So Pawan Kumar says, I'm from Jahat. And I said, a lot of people from Assam here.
I'm originally from Jorhat, actually. I settled in Guwahati.
Oh, there you go. And we're getting other people asking about you. Nilakshi, I'm from Mangoldoi, Darong. Is that a place?
Yeah, I know this place, but I've never been to.
Now, Nilakshi, the people are a bit shocked at the 3 years. So am I. I don't think maybe that's the maximum sentence, but Norman's cricket is semi-side-on game. Bowlers with front action also need to be a little side-on, isn't it? Wicket keeping is also about side-on movement. Well, the truth is, if you listen to David Lloyd always says cricket is a side-on game. You bat, you bowl side-on. You keep somewhat face-on, but you catch the ball to your side. So it is predominantly a side-on game. Okay. Are you sure Virat Kohli gets a century today? If Virat Kohli gets a century today, India will win. Full stop. Because that means he'll score 80 runs and the team will score more than 150, you would imagine, and that will put them in a situation where they can't lose. Really, India are already 50 to 55, if not 60% percentage to win the match. England are only around 15 and it draws 20 to 25. So that already tells you that England are very quickly starting to lose their grip on any chance of winning this match. At the moment, if India are all out, England will have a big chance. But if India bat out at least 2 sessions, they'll be probably very close to a target that's unassailable. Okay. People are asking about, do you think they should keep a T10 format for the Olympics? I hope not. That's that's too short. Why can't they play 20 overs? It's just, if they need to start the games before the Olympics, that's okay. Qualifiers, they should do that. Yeah, this is a big question. Ravi Chandra Ashwin not playing and they're going to miss him. What do you think, Nalakshi?
Yeah, I really thought that I was taking place of Jadeja. I thought that before this test match, but that didn't happen. So I don't know why they are keeping him aside. Really
Yeah, so
pointless things.
keep talking.
Yeah, I said it seems pretty pointless to me because he's a better spinner than Jadeja. He should
Oh,
be
for
in the
sure.
team.
But Kohli said before the test match that Ashwin is obviously the world's leading spin bowler, but Jadeja is someone they wanted to have playing as a left-arm batsman. He's left-arm deliveries. He bats higher in the order, which they put him up the order. They're giving him a lot of credit. Who was the guest today? Please, Rick Tech, who's got a lot of followers on his YouTube. This is Nilakshi Sharma, and Nilakshi Sharma is from Assam, the state of Assam, has finished a Bachelor of Science degree, knows all about cricket, has already been on the show more than 10 times, and has been here since January. Okay. Well, Nilakshi, what are you doing now in Guwahati? Any job or study? So we talked a bit about that before. She finished her studies, Bachelor of Science. Have you got any jobs lined up?
Yeah, I did. I do want to apply for MSc, and I did give some entrance exam. Let's see.
Okay. And you can tell people you've been a commentator for sport as well.
Yes.
Can't you? So Sanjay, a lead of 350 is what India wants. Anything less than India will lose. Now, Sanjay, that's 350 is a huge lead. That would be great if they get that. But if they're going to get that, they're going to have to get that before the end of the day to make it a game where they can win. Because otherwise, they could bat too long. It's a delicate balance. The Australian team always used to like to get 400 in front on the last day, but that was a different story. I don't think we need that many runs. So when will India want to declare? After the first session, midway through the final session, making about an hour. I think that would be the perfect situation, Naraj, for England to be put into bat late in the day and again at the beginning of the day. Or India might want to just bat them out of the game altogether and bat well into the 5th day, but I don't think they're going to do that. They may not last that long. I think if the league goes past 200 and then we may even see shut on punt ahead of Rahane for quick runs. Your thoughts? Now, Amaya More is a regular now in the lunch. He's asked this question. If they go past the first session into the second session and they've got a really big lead, well past 200, they're going to need 250 plus, or round say 250, which is 70 or 80 in the first session. Then shuttle a punt may go ahead. Yes, they may. They may do that.
I think Shardul has a big chance of getting ahead of Pant because Pant is playing just he played really good this time.
Well, he will be so positive and so confident because the game is in that situation where they're very confident, and that both Shardul Thakur and Pant will feed off each other. It'll be very interesting to watch. Now, Kunal has a fair point here that the reality is that India also do have a habit of this is the fourth day of the test. In the last test, they were in a pretty good position. They were behind, but they fell very quickly in the first session or so, and they were all out. If that happens again, then India will be in a difficult situation. England will have more of an authority. India have to bat like they did yesterday, at least reasonably close to it. Virat is in form. He is a silky smooth touch. Just needs to keep his focus on it. I hope he does. I really hope he does. He deserves to get a century, and this is his opportunity. Like Rohit Sharma, it'll be great to see him do that. Let's have a look here. Okay, Tim Wilson-Davies from Northern England. Say hello to Tim. Have you met Tim Nalakshi?
Sorry, what?
Have you met Tim before? No?
No.
Well, Tim's from Northern England. He says the one true Indian captain will hit a fantastic century. So in Tim's eyes, he sees Rohit Sharma as the true captain. Ooh. Jadeja is playing because he can bat. Yeah, well, that's true. How do you reckon Ravindra Jadeja getting promoted up? They want a third down before punt and Rahane. It's a bit strange, Jadeja, but they're trying it. They're sticking to it. So they've got a plan. How can some person breaching the security again and again, if such things happen in Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, ECA have cancelled their future tours? Why dual standards, Norman? That's a great question. Why have we allowed, they say, oh, in England, they're harmless. How do we know? The third time he went and almost collided with Besto, that was really stupid. Really, really, really stupid. The first two times were pretty bad, but this third time, he now should be in trouble. Or whether he's jailed, I don't know. But don't forget, this is in England, Nalakshi. I don't think they would be able to jail him for 3 years. They may charge him, and the worst charge is 3 years, but I don't think he'll get 3 years. We normally discuss the chance of winning, losing. The next day, the game seems to be shifting the other way. This is what's happening with the Indian team for 1 year. Sudeep Majumdar's right. We hope that India will be in charge in this match, and they are, but we just don't know. If Kohli and Jadeja and Rahane fall very quickly this morning, then the shoe's on the other foot, isn't it? A little bit. Yes, yeah. There is a forecast. We've had a forecast from none other than Munshi. Munshi has said very much what you're saying. There's cloud this morning, getting brighter with sun in the afternoon. Muggy means muggy. Do you know what muggy means, Nalakshi? Muggy is typical of India. Sweaty, hot. Like hot means there's a moisture in the air, but not rain. Like a form of humidity.
Humidity.
So if it's all up to the Indian batsman to grind out the first hour or two, not lose any wickets, and then have freedom for the rest of the afternoon. Yeah. Ricky takes right. He saw the momentum shifting ever since Pope lost his wicket. Things have sort of shifted towards India. There we are. Amlan Bora, you're being offered. Lakshi has been offered a job with Star Sports. Maybe that's what you should do one day. Maybe you should start applying. Say you've had experience here. Many people don't get this opportunity. They'll actually do that. Do they?
I'll think about it. I'd love that.
Okay. Yeah. ODI cricket in recent times become less intense than T20 leagues, killing in the Test cricket. Well, I don't know. Karan Shahi, I think Test cricket is still the most popular. T20 certainly is up there, and ODIs are losing their interest. So Tim says, I still think Mohan is overrated in red ball cricket. I prefer a full-time spinner like Jack Leach. Fair point, Tim, but Mohan's vice-captain at the moment. He's in the side. He's not going anywhere. So the SMSS, India want first two sessions completely. Played well, especially first 1 hour. Previous test, they collapsed day 4 in the first hour. That's right. This is a big pivotal moment for them. Oh, we've got a lot of things going on here. So Tim and there's a few people talking to Tim. It is warm in England today, but England stands good day to bat. Correct. So let's have a look here. agree with you, Norman. India would like to bowl with kind of some new ball tomorrow in the morning session and bowl 10 to 12 hours today in the last session. I agree. J Dash likes Java. We don't like Java. He's gone a bit too much of a joke. After 4th wicket down, India will promote Shardul Thakur to number 6. If they lose 4 wickets after the morning session, yes. But in the first session, Shardul Thakur won't come in at 4. Only time they'll come in if they bat through the first session and get a substantial lead. But then the batsmen who are not out will be in form as well. Jalo will be banned not for a year. He'll be banned permanently, because how could you trust him after a year? He'll do the same thing. Bowen Pithuala, I'm going to do the public reaction hopefully between tests. I'm in the north. He's from Newcastle, like it. Yeah, so Hume is correct. Target, trigger. Tim, good to see you. Okay, we're a little in the commentary. Rohit Sharma doing exactly what Sourav Ganguly used to do when Sachin Tendulkar was the captain. Always perform when it matters the most. I'll tell you what, did you enjoy watching that innings, Nalakshi?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed watching. Even Pujara was really good. We often don't see Pujara hitting big shots, but he was doing it yesterday.
Yeah, I've got someone trying to ring me. Okay. I'll stop that person right now. How can you hear me, Nalakshi?
I can hear you.
Good. Okay. I was just phone called by Nalakshi De Silva, the middle order player for Sri Lanka. You've been on the show. Remember we had all the girls on one day?
Yeah. On Women's Day.
She was on that show. Okay, so Pawan Kumar, who's been on quite a bit lately, I think Moeen Ali is very overrated, the way Pujara and I hammered Moeen yesterday. I don't think he can play as a spinner. England should pick Jack Leach in place of Moeen Ali. Well, Moeen Ali was picked not only for his bowling, but for his batting and his vice captaincy as well. It's a big accolade for him, isn't it? What do you think, Moeen Ali, Nalakshi, or Jack Leach?
For bowling, I think Jack Leach, and even Root is a better spinner than Moeen, I think.
Oh wow, that's a big comment. That's a big comment, actually.
Pretty good. He's a good spinner.
Well, yeah, but you like Joe Root, though. You like him, don't you?
No, as a player, I do like Joe Root.
Okay. So Vinod Talwal says, "Sir, don't you think the World Test Championship final venue should be decided after the two teams are decided to keep a real neutral venue?" Yes. Like if India and New Zealand playing South Africa, that might be a bit difficult to do depending on the time of the year. But yeah, I do see a point. But it also is fair to say if you won the last World Test Championship and you played it in a certain country, well, if New Zealand win it, they should be able to play it at their home ground. It should be the advantage given for their efforts. Okay, despite Jadeja scoring today, do you think Ashwin should play next test at Manchester ahead of Jadeja in this test? He is the best bowler in the world after Pat Cummins. Look, if Ravi Shastri, Virat Kohli, and the selection committee have decided not to have Ashwin for this test, there's no reason to have him for the next test. If they win this test match, they will not have him in the next test because in Manchester, it's more of a seaming fast bowler's wicket, even more than this wicket. There's no understanding why they would put Ashwin in unless they thought of giving Jadeja a change. They may do it, but I actually think they're not going to put him in there. It's a very interesting situation. Amazing that Ravi Chandra Ashwin can actually not play the entire 5 test matches. That's almost hard to comprehend, isn't it, Nalakshi? When this test series started, I would never have thought they would leave Ashwin out completely. That's hard to comprehend.
It seemed pretty unfair to Ashwin, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying there's something else behind all this. There's a lot of people saying there's something going on that we're not seeing on the surface, and that's the big question. Is there something going on there that we're not seeing? Is there an issue between Shastri Kohli and Ashwin, or is there not? There's been nothing said. Ashwin hasn't said a word. He's a very professional player. But I have this slight feeling, a few commentators that I've spoken to have that inkling that maybe there's something not quite right there. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. No one remembered what happened in T20 leagues. They are just for entertainment. You're right. They are entertainment. Who are the best Indian cricketers ever? Well, Tim, Wilton Davies. I mean, really, Sachin Tendulkar immediately. Who else? No, actually, who's the best Indian cricketers ever?
Same Sachin, I would think.
Well, he is one capital dead. He won the first World Cup back in 81 or 2. Also, you know, MS Dhoni would have to be up there. You'd have to look at Ganguly's performances. Sehwag, Laxman, Dravid, all brilliant. And then bowlers like Zahir Khan. But actually, you can't leave out one person. That's Virat Kohli. And in the future, Bumrah may be in that same league as well. And Ashwin. What other people think? Ricky Terragins, Lord Shardul. I love this Lord Shardul. I don't know where Lord came from. We've talked about that already. Transient. Josh Butler's special day today, his second child. Also, transit that actually happened today, did it? I didn't see that. Well, congratulations to Josh Butler. Congratulations to Josh Butler indeed. It'll be nice if he can. So Baran Arani is joining us from the post-match. Okay. There we are. Who's Mayanti Langer? I don't know her. And Sanjana Ganashit. He reads the cricket situation as good as any specialist. Good on you. That's a big praise for you. Rohit Sharma made an overseas century outside India. We know that, Paranjay. Wonderful, wasn't it? Why Team India backing Rahani's play with Suraj Kumar Yadav? Sky's not going to jump over Vihari and Agarwal. No way. What is doing your son this time? He's actually with his girlfriend. I think they're buying a car. My son's actually with his new girlfriend, and they're buying a car, an oldie or something. I wonder where he get the money for that. He didn't get it from me. And he should declare when they have a lead of 300. They won't. It's a bit too. When they get past it, they're in a great position. So what do you think India is going to choke today? Oh, also, they're not choked. They can't. They're not going to choke. They're in front. You can't choke when you're in front. I don't think they'll survive very successfully. I think that they've got a lot of batters. They've still got Rahane, Shardul, and Punt to come. Jadeja's there with Kohli. They're both very experienced. I reckon we're going to see a bigger effort. We're going to see. I would still think between conservatively 300 to 320 lead with a session to go. England in bat and will struggle. And that's true. Paranjay Sachdeva. What was great, wasn't it? 150-run partnership in Lakshi between Pujara and Rahul. That's a magnificent partnership, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And even KL Rahul he also set the platform pretty well, I think.
Absolutely. He certainly did set the platform. He was brilliant. He had an excellent start to the match. It was very commendable indeed. It was a great start to the day. Lord Shardul should come after fourth wicket. Ricky, okay, someone explain to me where the word Lord has come from. Who's calling Lord Shardul? That's interesting. And Shale Manjus is true. He's right. Mark Wood and Archer would have been a bonus in this game, and one is certainly injured. The other one is unavailable. No way is Root better than Moen Ali bowling. Shows now they're not liking what you said. How many overs India will need to bowl out England? Well, they'll need, because of the conditions being slightly more batter friendly, you would think that it probably will take a full day to get them out. And a little bit of tonight, England time. That would be my thoughts. What do you think, Nalakshi?
Yeah, if they get the early wicket of Joe Root, then it's pretty clear that India will win.
Yeah, it's true. Joe Root's very important. Quick X is feeling sad for Dom Best. Well, Dom Best was a bit up and down, and perhaps he was already calculated out. But don't forget, both England and India have not played the spinners. Jack Leach and Dom Bess are not. So Moeen Ali's there because he bats. Actually, if you think about it quite closely, Neil, actually, both teams have done the same thing. England haven't chosen Jack Leach, who's a true spinner, and Dom Bess. India haven't chosen Ashwin. But what England has done is they've selected Moeen Ali, a left-arm batter who bowls spin. In the case of India, a left-arm batter, left-handed batter, that is Jadeja, who bowls spin. Mind you, it's left arm. But the similarity in their selections is very uncanny. It's almost like early on, England didn't select spinners for the matches against New Zealand earlier on in the year and before the World Test Championship. And India had two. They had Ashwin and Jadeja, and they lost that match. And from all of that, they've gone through the stats and they've worked out that the majority of bowling wickets have been fast bowlers. And they've decided not to use Ashwin, which was a huge, huge call. Huge call, especially in this match. This match, they should have used Ashwin. Is there any future for Afghanistan cricket teams? For the men's team, no, actually, there's a very big future. But for the Afghani women's cricket team, they are hiding. If you go to my in my YouTube channel, you have the community tab. You've seen that, Alexi, the community tab?
Which one?
In my YouTube channel, there's a community tab. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you have it on the top here. Well, I put an article there about Afghani women. If you look there, I put an article in there about, I think, earlier today, maybe yesterday. There was an article there. I wrote about Afghani women. Okay? And that's about the topic that the women are actually hiding in Kabul. They're not being found because the Taliban will not approve of women playing cricket. Pretty scary. Jadeja's doing good. No need to drop him. Ashwin could not bat in England. I don't think it's necessarily the negative of Ashwin. It's just that they don't believe they should be there as a spinner, which is incredible, but it's what's happened. Okay. So Lord Shuttle memories. I've got to look at that. So my auntie Langer is India's first ever sports anchor. I didn't know that. Yeah, Shah Manju, I don't think Virat will declare it at 300. I don't think he will either. But they have to at least get that to feel confident. And then they can be freer with their batting. But they're going to have to declare some stage today, and it has to be in that last session. As at least an hour to an hour and a half in that last session should be dedicated to good fast bowling, to take Indian wickets, get 3 or 4 wickets, especially Root, and then get into their middle order.
I think it's possible only if they survive.
Exactly. That's it. Correct. Yeah, Amresh Singh, who's a member, not only a subscriber, but a member, is exactly right. That's probably the best way of saying it. 80 odd overs today, and the whole day, 15 overs today as well. 15 overs today and 80 overs tomorrow is about on par with what they deserve to do. And they're going to have to, really get their act together, because it's going to be something of a, time will be against India to get them out. They need to have enough time to get England out. That they need a total of around 320 and above will be more than enough. The highest score, Nalakshi, on this ground in the last innings since 1960 is 240 in the last innings. It's the highest score in the 4th inning. Yep. So there's not a very good record about how teams bat in the last innings on this ground. So that's, so what we're saying is 240 plus hasn't been achieved for over 60 years. So the chances are very much in India's favour, but not yet. They're only 171 in front. They need to be safe 150, which they'll probably get within the first 2 sessions easily today, and that's their target. And I hope that Kohli, Jadeja, Rahane, Punt, and Sajal, those 5 batters that are coming in now, They're from 4 to 8 in the batting order. Everything's upon them because we won't bring into play Siraj or Bumrah really into this equation at this point. Well, they're there, yes, but they won't be relied upon, I think, which is a fair comment. We've got a very good audience today, Nalakshis. Very good numbers. Actually, Thakur was first trolled by saying Lord Thakur when he used to give so many runs while bowling. Okay, well, I think he's batting certainly. Thakur means Lord in Bengali. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't speak Bengali actually.
But you must have. Okay, we need to Google that. We need to Google that and find that out. That's an interesting fact, isn't it? If that is true. This is a good question. Is India burning out Bumrah without giving him any rest? I think because he's going to be playing in the IPL and the World Cup, he needs probably to be given a rest. If India win this match and go 2-1 up, they may rest Bumrah and bring in Shami. And they've still got a good bowling attack, haven't they? And then Mashadov is another player we haven't talked about. He has bowled fantastically. Bumrah has bowled very well, hasn't he?
Especially that Joru wicket, that was really good bowling.
The one that got Umesh Yadav, who got Root, you mean?
No, I said Umesh Yadav, he took Joru's wicket in the first inning. That was really good bowling from him.
Extremely important. It was really, really important. The highest successful test chase at the Oval is 263 in 1902. India should declare it T. There we go. Since 1902, 263. That's almost 119 years. Only once did they get 263. It's looking pretty good for India, really. But you never know. This could be the time to break records. India did it at the Gabba. They broke the record, didn't you? Did I know you during that Gabba test? I think we met after the Gabba test, didn't we?
After.
Yeah. Okay. But if Tim Wilton Davies is correct, if the highest successful test chase at the Oval is 263 in 1902, India should declare it T. Well, that's I would agree with. I think T or around about T time is a good time to do it. Yes, but they should bat until at least T, shouldn't they? They really need to bat until at least T. I was happy to see. Sorry.
Sorry, for that to happen, Kohli has to score a ton. It's all up to him.
Yes. We've got so many people making comments. It's hard to keep up. The selection of Tucker was a top move by Kohli. I think it was. They needed his spark. Absolutely. Bhuvik Kumar would have been in here if he was fit. He wasn't fit. A lot of good bowlers. Now, he'll be in the next set. If he keeps his fitness up, he'll be in the mix. Don't worry. Exactly. Mihir Jadhav, they have a fantastic, absolutely fantastic effort. Have India. It's commendable indeed. Very much commendable. It's very exciting. If they win this, we shouldn't underplay this victory. If India end up winning this test match, go 2-1, and therefore probably win the series, this is massive. This is India winning in Australia and England and at home in such a manner over the last 12 months. They are clearly going to be the best team in the world. Even though they didn't win the World Test Championship, India will certainly take the mantle of the best test team in the world now, without any doubt. And really, this is such a significant result. And here we are bagging numbers 3, 4, 5, 6 and saying, oh, drop them. I'm so impressed with Shastri, Kohli, and the selection panel not to do that and to persist with Punjab, because look what he did yesterday. 153-run partnership with Rohit Sharma. Magnificent. They gave KL Rahul another go. He scored a century. All it needs now is Kohli and Rahane to do it with Pant today, and all the Indian upper order batsmen have put in a real strong effort this series. Pujara and Rahane had a 99-run partnership, or was it 100? I can't remember now. And at Lords, and they won the test match. We've got to remember the significance of these. So we should be able to get off the back of Indian players and not be so upset with them because they've done so well. I know we've got high expectations, but those expectations have to be realistic. Now, anyone that's on the show now with Nalakshi Sharma and I, please make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm looking at my subscriber list. I want to see people that are online today hitting the subscriber button and hitting the notification button for the post session and future sessions. Please not only watch, but also subscribe. It's extremely important to the success of the channel to subscribe. It costs you nothing. And share it between your colleagues and friends. And Lakshi's done that very well. Share it through WhatsApp, through your connections, your email, your word of mouth. Please do that. I would appreciate it. Okay, read that one out. Lakshi, can you read that? ICC should try introducing super sub test cricket team. Have to decide to skip them. That would be... There's a bit of merit there. I mean, they've got that for the concussion rule. You can substitute a player, can't you? Can you imagine if they brought Ashwin in the second half of this match? That would have been exciting.
Yeah, that would, I think, completely change the match.
Pretty good idea. I don't mind that. If there's very strict rules about how they do it, maybe 1 to 2 players and that's it. Make that the rule.
And if they bring Sky in place of Rahane, that would be...
Well, I don't mind that. That's rather, it brings innovation into the game without hurting the game, and they'll bring controversy, and there'll be questions who should come in, and then they might bring in the wrong player. Now, today I've just been told, well, today is Father's Day in Australia, but not around the world. But in India, it's Teachers' Day today, correct?
Yes, it's Teachers' Day.
So what does that mean? Tell me what do you do on a day like today? What do you do? Not you, but what do people do generally?
Yeah, we give respect to teachers, then celebrate like Teachers' Day, like students, they perform some functions for the teachers, something like that, programs and all.
Give them presents?
Yeah, presents.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's have a look here. So 5 centuries in the World Cup 2019, 3 T20I hundreds, 3 double centuries, 100 in England. What else does Rohit need to do to be in the Fab Four, or should we revise the Fab Four for Fab Five? Well, he needs to be a bit more consistent, which he has been. Rohit Sharma has been consistent all year. He scored the most runs this calendar year for India. He's only behind Joe Root. He's batting fantastically. This was a great moment for Rohit Sharma. He has now gone past 3,000 test runs. He's proven his worth, hasn't he? Magnificent effort, really.
Even KL Rahul, he's behind Rohit, I think.
Yeah, Rahul's probably the next, I think.
Yes.
In fact, I think I'm pretty sure that this innings has put Sharma ahead of Rahul for this series. But overall, throughout the whole year, Rohit Sharma's hit, I think, over 1,000 runs now, which is a great achievement. Absolutely. Well, bad light affects today's play too. It could well, Shah Manjul, but then India will bring on their spinners. If India are in the field later on today, then India will bring on their spinners. That is, well, not Ashwin for sure, but they'll bring in Jadeja. And there's a few other players. I mean, I think Rohit Sharma can bowl a spin. But yeah, I think they're going to miss Ashwin. Oh boy, they're going to. If India do not get England all out tomorrow and it's a draw, and they would have needed a spinner, they're going to regret not having Ashwin on the side. But they won't react by putting Ashwin in the last match because it's not a spinning wicket. But we'll see what happens. You never know.
No, I'm going to have to go.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you, Nalakshi. It's good to have you on the show. Everyone thank Nalakshi. She's come all the way from Assam. What do you want people to follow your Instagram or you don't?
Yeah, my Instagram ID is Nilakshi Sharma 12.
So no gaps. Nalakshi, NEELAKSHI, Sharma 12.
And dash.
Underscore or dash?
Sorry?
Underscore or dash?
That's cool.
Underscore. Okay. Lakshmi, thanks for coming today. You've been on for the first 45, almost 50 minutes. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you,
Say goodbye,
Norman.
Lakshmi, everyone. My pleasure. Lakshi's having trouble getting. There she's gone. All right. So we'll wait. We're going to get some more guests on. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have Gurkharat Gill coming on a bit later, but most of the England commentators are not here. That's a bit of a surprise. I would have expected to have a few more. But look, it's in India's favour today, greatly. Again, we're going to talk highly of the superlatives of Rohit Sharma and Rahul. They're an opening partnership that India have always needed, or not always, but needed for some time. Going back to the days of when Shikhar Dhawan was in bat, he used to bat with it. He used to open up the batting. It used to be very impressive. Big opening partnerships are the key to a touring side, especially in countries like England and Australia, and obviously India. The opening partnership is the most significant partnership of the performance of the team, and it's been proven yet again with the partnership that we had between Rahul and obviously Rohit Sharma. But then it was continued on by a very, very positive Pujara. In fact, the first wicket fell at 83. Really, anything around 50, 80 to 100 runs as an opening partnership is magnificent. So it went from 1 for 83 to 2 for 236, 153 run partnership. They did lose a couple of wickets very, very quickly. But as in Sharma and Pujara fell pretty quickly after each other. But since then, we've had a partnership of some 33 with both Jadeja and Kohli. And this is an impressive position to be in. We look forward to that performance. The bowling, they used Anderson, Robinson, Wokes and Overton. Anderson bowled 23 overs in this match. He's going to be really struggling in terms of his fitness, you would expect in the next test. We'll see. Who will Mark Wood come in to replace? Will it be Overton, who was fairly ordinary? Robinson and Wokes have bowled particularly well, and in fact, Wokes batted well. If they're going to drop anyone from the side to bring Mark Wood in, it probably will be Craig Overton. But even James Anderson may be considered, they might bring Sam Curran back. We just don't know. Moeen Ali bowled 15 overs and was wicketless. Root bowled 4. So the England bowling lineup will have a difficult day today, but it's all up to the first hour. They've still got a fairly new ball, but the ball is actually 11 overs old. That means that the ball will be still relatively new. The Duke's ball, very dark red. If it's overcast conditions yet again at the beginning of the day's play, we'll see India struggle somewhat, but we hope that Kohli continues to bat in the manner he batted yesterday and the way that both Rohit Sharma, Pujara, and even Rahul did, where he plays the ball late, under the lid, as they call, under the helmet, and under his eye light, and plays the line of the ball, not jutting out and trying to collect the ball. When he drives with great confidence. But in general, he needs to be more aware of the ball's line and length, and steady the ship for the first hour to hour and a half's play, collecting runs when possible, but certainly not losing his wicket. And if he and Jadeja succeed in doing that, and have Rahane there as a part of that threesome of players in the first session, India should see that 171 lead go to 250 or thereabouts, hopefully more than that. Let's say roughly 260. That means that middle session, they can step up the run rate, certainly, and the batsmen who will be in touch during the day will then go on getting totals of 320 plus. Whether they need more than 320, we've heard earlier, 1902 was the last time a team scored 260 odd in the last innings at the Oval. So that just shows you, in 119 years of cricket at the Oval, 119 years of cricket at the Oval, which is a lot of Test cricket, no side's got more than 263. So that is pretty damn minimal. So if India head past that magical 263 and go probably close to 320, they're going to be in a situation where they can afford to put England into bat and throw everything at them, both at after the tea session, after tea into the third session of the day, and ultimately towards the end of the innings of the day, and then into the morning of the next day, the fifth day. And they should be able to collect hopefully 3, 4, 5 wickets and be in a 7C and really win this. Don't forget, 2 tests ago at Lord's, India got England all out for 120. The very next test at Headingley, it completely flipped around, and India went all out for 78, and England were none for 120. Quite incredible. This particular match, India didn't bat well in the first innings. 191 was not a good score. Luckily, the likes of both, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Coley got 50. Coley got 50 in the first innings. Just recollecting, yeah. Coley's 50 in the first innings and Tucker's 57 made them reach 191, which was not a great score. It was a pretty ordinary score. England quite successfully went past that score, not overly. They went to 290 and led by 99. So don't forget, England led by 99 runs after the first innings. So India had to get rid of a 99 runs deficit. They've done so very handsomely, and they're now 171 in front, having been through for 270. Fantastic position. Whether India can score 470, which would be remarkable, which would bring a total of 370 in front, will be. I don't think they'll get that. The wicket will play some games there, some games in the. So 320, which means they'll need to get over 400, which is very plausible. We'll see them in a very good position to definitely not lose the match, and for England not to win the match. Then it's a matter of a win to India or a draw. And I'm hearing something was talking about a draw in this match. I can't see Coley going to that extreme of batting up the entire day into tomorrow. It's leaving it too late. Gohil, Vijay, you think England will lose the match? Well, at this stage, it's looking like they won't win. It could be a draw. India scored 346 in the fourth innings over last tour. Ricky Tech, I don't know whether. So India scored fourth innings. Okay, that's interesting. Was it to win the match, or what was that? That's interesting. I do recall that, but I think it's more about winning the match we're talking about here, not surviving, but winning the match, and that's what the crucial aspect of this is. Because Kohli's today's 200. Well, he's on 22 at the moment. Let's get him to 50. Let's get him to 100 before we think about anything more than that. And if he does get to 200, India will be well and truly declared by that stage anyway. You would imagine. I can't see them batting that long to allow him to get 200, or he may not let himself bat that long. India should be bat over 150 overs and have a lead of 350 plus today, and then have around 95 overs to bat. I think that India are going to want to have England bat by the end of the day's play. Ricky Tech, that's very much the Australian way to play. Go score it and have a 400 plus lead and run the other team into the ground, and that generally works. But I don't know whether India can afford to do that, because England have got a reasonable batting lineup in terms of this particular pitch conditions. And if it's sunny's up towards the end of the day, it could be equally sunny tomorrow. So let's give every chance of winning. Yeah, I think 300 litres a decent target to go for. So India scored a lot more than 240 plus last time when India batted fourth. KL and Punt both scored hundreds, but it was not a winning course. That's correct. That's what we're talking about here. For England to win this match, it's England that has to score the runs, not India. India will be the one that they'll have to chase. So that's what I'm getting at. It's different dynamics we're talking about here. If India survive a collapse in the first session, then India will combat 1 hour after tea and declare. After tea, or you're talking post tea, so leaving an hour of the day play, which is the third session. Is that what you're saying, Bhavesh Deshpande? It was a breezy and overcast all day yesterday, yet we didn't see the Duke's ball swing much yesterday. Any reason for that? Can you think of anything? It may not have been as abrasive. The wicket may not have allowed that to happen. The conditions may have been not as heavy. They may be overcast, but they might have been higher cloud, not low cloud. That dynamic, the moisture in the air, the level of the cloud is where the overcast nature has to be also at the level of its high cloud, and it's still overcast, but high cloud, it may not have allowed it to swing as much. But I think the clouds were somewhat higher, I believe. Now, I'm not a meteorologist, by the way, but I'd say that would be more likely the case. The ball isn't moving much. Kohli should proceed towards the century. J-Dash and everyone, please give Kohli the opportunity to get to 50 first, then to 75, and then go for 100. Rohit Sharma did that beautifully. He did not overcook himself. He was steady all the way to his 100 and went past 100, then played what was effectively a loose shot with a pull shot. But he batted fantastically. The best innings I've seen Rohit Sharma play in a long while, especially in the test format. So Crick would have been more effective as a bowler because he has many variations and is better batting. The batting, well, let's put the batting to one side, but he's bowling. Yes, they're going to miss him. If Ravi Ashram was in the side today and they were getting this sort of total, they would have England sweating. Yes, Tuckle means Lord and Ben Valley. Okay, no. Okay, all right. Rishabh Pant certainly is crucial. Whilst only 2 people are spamming here, they say, okay, relax. I believe swing is caused by moisture in the wicket. It is dry in London. It's moisture in the wicket to an extent, Tim, but it's moisture in the air because the ball swings. If you're talking about cut and movement off the pitch, that's one thing. But swing is through the air, not on the pitch. So it's actually the conditions of the air that make a ball swing. The conditions of the pitch make the ball move and cut. There's a difference, I believe. Ben, okay, I don't know what's going on. So I haven't looked at it. Who will be the player to watch today? I would argue Kohli, certainly. Kohli and Punt are the 2 you would expect to be the ones to watch, but Shardul Thakur is still there. Jadeja and Rahane will have a job to balance the batting. Kohli will be slightly more aggressive, maybe not early on, but over time he will be more aggressive. There's no doubt about that. So that's the key to that situation indeed. So guys, if you're online today and you are, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Hit my subscribe button for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick, okay? And then also hit the notification button. Share it through your WhatsApp groups, but please subscribe. I beg you to, but please subscribe. It is important for the channel to show a good reflection of who watches. And because I don't have a subscriber only base to the chat room, I let it be open to everybody. So if you are chatting or when I'm contributing with you, I'm interacting with you, it's a rather special position to be able to talk to me that easily. So subscribe. Show me that you are after my heart to make it all good. How are swing and seam different from each other? Again, swing bowling is the positioning of the hand of the ball. You rub one side of the ball and you make it rougher than the air. So it's through the air, the turbulence through the air, where the rough side gets caught and swings away. The seam is where you pitch the ball on the wicket itself. David Graveney.
Hi, Norman.
How are you, David?
I'm fine. This is a fleeting visit, Norman. I just thought I'd clock
That's
in.
all right. You come on at a great time.
Show that the English are not hiding. So,
well, you copped a bit of a bagging yesterday because they're wondering where Reg Vernon, Chris Vernon, Munchie, David Graveney, Adam Holliott, Monty Pass were not to be found. I'm joking.
I was in Beckenham watching us inflicting a massive defeat on the West Indies under 19s. So.
Oh, you had good reason not to be here. I'm not blaming you. It was more facetious, their commentary.
Sorry, yeah. So it was a fluctuating day, wasn't it? So it's a fluctuating series, really. So.
Tell me, David, that there's some stats that people have been bringing up. One of our supporters here, Tim, has suggested that the last time, the biggest score that's ever been scored on the 4th innings at the Oval was a 263 back in 1902. So it's not a notorious big innings in the 4th innings here.
I think what happens when you leave a bit of grass on, which they obviously did, is it actually becomes a better wicket by the end of the game. So. It's the pressure of doing it. Sort of people were saying, well, if they get more than 200, we're looking down the barrel. Well, I'd have to say that actually what the wicket has done, which isn't a lot, but they now have a brand new ball. So how their energy tanks will be the key thing. And we all know that actually they're only a couple of wickets away from having a complete collapse. So, but
it's true. It's true.
But they played really well yesterday, so fair play to them.
But we spoke exactly the same way in the previous test on the 4th day. I was very glowingly saying India would bat all day, and they fell apart, didn't they? And England won by an innings. In this case, India are certainly more ahead than they were in that much. They're in a better position.
I think they will realise if they get through the first day of the new ball and not too much damage, you've got to expect that the new ball will do something. But it'll be interesting to see how the English bowlers shape up, really, because there could be absolutely. You've got one guy coming back from injury, one guy who's 30, the wrong side of 35, and the other guy who's only just started to play, first international cricket, as is Overton. So there's a lot of unknowns. Not to say that they won't perform, but there's just a lot of unknowns. So it's been enthralling watching, I'd have to say. So.
Oh, Yeah, I mean, the superlatives for Rohit Sharma's batting yesterday was a magnificent innings, wasn't it?
No, he played some really wonderful shots, I'd have to say. So, well, he's a high class player, and I think he's now seen himself to be able to concentrate for that period of time, which is really good. So he's his first 100. It's amazing that somebody of his ability, that's the first time he's got 100 outside India. But maybe
it's hard to believe, isn't it?
This could be the beginning of a lot. So,
but it's interesting, David. There's also the stat of this series. The only batsman to score centuries as openers has been both KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma. None of the England openers have been able to score a century, which is, I mean, obviously Joe Root has done extremely well. We know that, but their opening pair, or even you would argue the top three.
I really do think it's their technique that is allied with a little bit of luck. You need that against a new ball, but they are, they've got really, really good techniques, and you'd have to say actually Sharma getting out in the way that he did was a little bit unfortunate with a short ball, with a brand new ball that didn't bounce. That doesn't normally happen, but he probably should have. Reggie's back.
Well, he's not back. He's in Lanzarote still.
No. We've been taking some abuse, Reg, for not rocking up.
I have only come on to say that Norman sent me a message last night from a comment that it got a bit of abuse, David. We got a bit of abuse for not rocking up after England had got absolutely hammered yesterday.
Well,
So,
hammered is. I think they played really well. So,
but I just thought I'd say that the reason I've not been about, guys, is I am on holiday, and it's a little bit difficult when you've got a wife that's as big and as bold as mine to keep saying I'm going on with Norman on a cricket show.
I'm planning my wife's final birthday party, so this is brief. So I just thought I'd clock in, Norman, and hopefully I'll catch up with you tonight, which might be an easier time.
Post match. Okay.
When England have bowled them out for 250, and they're about 120 for 2. So
no chance.
They're actually 270s.
Reg,
well, you're sounding like me now, David.
Even Bristol Rovers won a game yesterday, so everything's looking up. So.
Quickly, what was the score between England and West Indies yesterday? Can you quickly tell us the synopsis?
We got 290 at Beckenham, which is really good. 2 names for you guys to look out for in years to come. A young guy called Jacob Bethel, who currently plays in the first team for Warwickshire, even though he's still at school. Left-handed batsman. He is a white Bayesian, Norman. So it's the great. If you're allowed to say that, but he speaks with a West Indies accent, but obviously he's white. Now that comes from the plantation families who lived in the middle of Barbados, who owned all the sugar plantations. Obviously, they don't do that now, but very, very talented player.
So it's Jack Bethel, is it? Is that his name?
No, Jacob Bethel, his name is.
Jacob Bethel.
And there's another guy who got runs yesterday called James Brew, who is not even left school yet. He's now going into his upper 6th year, which is the last year for A levels in this country, Norman. So they both got 60 odds. An occasional, our suspicion was that we know that we can't play spin, but it'd be fair to say that some of the other countries can't, unless they are the subcontinent countries. So, so the West Indies were entertaining to watch. Even just their supporters were entertaining. But they had 2 or 3 guys who, let's say, they were keen on the bouncer, so they kept bowling back and quick as well. But when they did take a wicket, they also celebrated like Curly Ambrose.
Right.
Because he's an iconic player. So, so we bowled him out, and occasional spinner got 5 for 19, I think. I think it's the 3rd best bowling analysis of any under-19 player in the history of under-19 cricket in the UK.
That's wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so... And we normally lose when we start, so this is very, very encouraging. Fortunately, the chairman of the board turned up to watch as well, which was nice. So we had the hierarchy there, and they responded, which is good.
And where are you now, David? Are you still up in London, or are you?
No,
you're
I came
coming
back.
down-
I
Oh, wow.
used public transport the first time in a year and a half, Reg. It was quite
Wow.
quite an
Pretty
enlightening
travel though
experience.
for you. Long way.
Sorry? On the train, it was okay. So, train to Paddington, Victoria, Beckenham. Beckenham's only 20 minutes down the road. So, and the station's very close to the ground. I couldn't believe, Reg, the amount of building in London that's going on that's happened in a year and a half, particularly south of the river, around Battersea Power Station and things like that. So no wonder the country's run out of cement, Norman, during the
Oh
lockdown.
my God.
There wasn't any cement anywhere. They had to buy in from Europe at about 4 times the price. So, and now they've run out of wood because everybody's building extensions, COVID bars in their garden. So they played really well. So they play. I'm sure the West Indies will respond. But I'm sure they will get a lot of confidence. A lot of confidence from it. You know, it's a scratch team. They all look to be getting on with each other really well, which is good. So
excellent. So we'll look out for those 2 young players, Jacob Bethel and James Rue.
James Rue, and there's a few others. I'll give you a. There's a young lad who opened the bowling called Sonny Baker, who plays for Somerset, who's probably the best seamer we have.
Sammy Baker.
Yeah, and another lad, Alex Horton, who's a wicketkeeper who kept smashing it out of the ground. I think what the coaching people here have asked them to do, just play naturally. This is actually very Rishan Pant type sort of scenario. You've got young guys who like to hit the ball, so you're basically saying hit the ball, but just be a bit more, not hit it, but just be a bit more selective which ball to hit. And I'm sure that's what they'll say to Rishabh Pant. And it may be a scenario which actually sort of gets him back on track. Hopefully he has to come in when it's still the game's in the balance, but it could be that actually the game is in a bit of a comfortable position with the field spread, so he can just get himself in. That's all he needs to do.
At 170 in front, David, I think Rishabh Pant will think the game is well in India's favour when he comes into bat. I think he'll come and bat and have a go at it big time today.
They just need to tell him to calm down a bit. You know, if he just says, all these guys, Reg, if you say to them, just stay in, you'll be amazed how quickly the scoreboard moves around, because that's the way you play. So don't try and go harder at the ball. You do it anyway. So,
absolutely.
So anyway, Reg, Norman,
thank you, David, for coming in.
Reg?
Thanks. Sorry, say again, David.
Suntan coming on.
Not too bad. It's 30 degrees here, so it's pretty decent.
That's what it's going to be in London the next couple of days.
No. It's always like that in Kent. Where you're going down to Polo Farm, David, aren't you?
No, it was completely cloudy yesterday. So it was. But the West Indies fans just brought back some memories for me. When you get about 4,000 of them all shouting and bawling and whatever.
It's awesome.
Half the job is to silence the crowds more than anything else. So.
All right, David. Thank you very, very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Later, guys. Reg, have a nice holiday if I don't speak to you.
Thank you, David.
See you tonight. I've got something else tonight.
See you later.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Reg, for coming. You've resurrected yourself because you were copying it. People can't say anything now. But I'll tell you what, you actually look like you haven't had that much sun. You look rather light, pale colour. You haven't really gone out too much for a swim, have you, or what?
Oh, I have. No, I have. Lots. Yeah, it's just that you've got to be a bit careful at 30 degrees when you're a pasty white guy from England like me. You've got to be a little bit careful.
So let me get this clear. Canary Islands is off Morocco, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. This is the third largest, I think. Lanzarote. You've got Gran Canaria, Tenerife. They're all sort of in a line. So
they're all Tenerife, Gran Canaria, and Lanzarote are all a part of the Canary Islands. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they get 320 days of sunshine a year or something.
Really?
It's a pretty decent place to be. You guaranteed the weather pretty much.
Do you know we've had almost 11,000 people view in this first hour?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I'm I haven't seen the cricket, Norman. We can't get it here. I can't get it online either. It's banned for the whatever. I can't see it, not easily anyway. And I would have liked.
Can you go on YouTube and just look at links there?
I tried, but it said YouTube. It was a banned channel or something. I did try,
What?
but
Really?
so I don't. But what I wanted to ask you, I would have liked to have seen the moment Sharma got 100 yesterday. Was that a good moment? Was he really
He 6
awesome to get to 100?
He hit the ball onto the second tier of one of the stands towards long on. It wasn't a bludgeon. It was a perfectly timed shot off Moeen Ali.
Yeah.
The rejoicing was outrageous. He and I'm pretty sure it was Pujara and he came together.
Pujara, wouldn't it?
It was an incredible embrace. Rohit Sharma took a long time to acknowledge the crowd. Kohli, Shastri, the whole team were in unison, all the Indian supporters and England supporters, because you know what?
It matters.
When Rohit Sharma's on, he's really on. It was an absolutely magnificent. He did get dropped on one or two occasions. I think that the villain again was Rory Burns, but the reality was England's slippers are terrible at the moment. But despite that, his shot selection was near perfect. He eventually got out for 120, I think it was 127, off a ball. It was a rank short long hop from Wokes that he smacked down to the backward square leg on the boundary of court. So it was an awful shot. But a lot of people have been spending time talking about the shot and thinking, bugger off. He scored 127, the most magnificent play. And we've got to remember that the England opening batsmen have not scored centuries in the whole series, nor has the number 3. It's only been Root that's done that. On top of that, you've got both KL Rahul and now Rohit Sharma have scored centuries opening, which really, India needs to be applauded for the way they've played. They've really come back well in this test match, haven't they?
Yeah, no, they have. I would have loved to have seen Sharma. I think he's a quality player. I think that when you start getting these monkeys on your back, that the big stat never scored 100 outside of India. Initially, it doesn't matter too much, but then as you go series after series and not doing it, it becomes a thing in his mind. It must have become a thing. So the emotional relief he must have got when he hit that the 6 to get to 100 must have been awesome. That must have been the most amazing feeling for him. I bet he turns around and says that was one of the best feelings he's ever had in cricket.
You're right, because the sheer reaction of his century, it was as if he won the World Cup. It was as if he scored at 300. It was as if he'd never scored a century before in his career. He absolutely savoured the moment.
Yeah.
And he was determined to get 100. The 6 was emphatic. It wasn't just a loose blow. It was timed to perfection, and it went a country mile, and it was the most beautiful way to go to 100. He went from 94 to 100. It was amazing. Yeah. So before that, he scored 2 or 3 really good 4s. So his crescendo was huge. He said, but Pujara got 61. He was cutting the ball beautifully through the gully region, putting the ball over the top of the slip with a very deliberate over the slip shot. He looked sensational. Pujara, he actually twisted his ankle early on in the innings, and he looked like he was gone, like he couldn't stand up.
Gordon Greenwich-like, Norman.
Yeah, it was magnificent. It was so un-Pujara-like. They really took hold of it. And even KL Rahul, he got 46. He looked fantastic. Out of all of them now, Kohli's 22 and Jadeja's 9. Kohli certainly looked good, but he can't even compare himself to what happened before him. The other batsman batted so well.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off a bit, doesn't it?
Oh, it was 153 run. It was an 83 run opening partnership, followed by a 153 run partnership.
Yeah. So now the question is, have we got a new ball, did David say? Is it?
It's 11th over.
Okay, so it's a big hour then, because it will still play flat, the Oval, as we said before the game, Norman. It's the best place to play in England when the sun's out. And I think you've probably seen that the pitch, I haven't seen it, but I guess it's playing pretty well to bat on. So
it is, but the ball just didn't swing.
Yeah.
It was overcast, but it didn't swing, which is interesting.
It's not a massive swinging ground, the Oval, generally. It's not one of the grounds that you say in England, swings prodigiously. It's a really good place to bat, Norman. It's just, the bounce and the carry is usually good, bounce and carry there. So day 4, what is interesting is that we've got a test that's going to go into day 5, and that neither side have picked their front line spinner, which is very interesting, because although Moeen Ali's a good bowler, you'd say he's not our number 1 spinner, and obviously Ravi Ashwin is India's number 1 spinner. He's not playing either. So if it does start to take a bit of spin, it'll be interesting to see how the game pans out.
Well, that's if I only really thought about this thoroughly today. England's selections are mainly pace bowlers.
Yeah.
They haven't played Jack Leach or Don Best. They played Moeen Ali, a left-hand batter and spinner.
He rolls right.
India.
Spins right. He's
He bowls right-handed. He's still a left-hand batter. Okay?
Yeah.
India, similar. Medium and fast bowlers. No real spinner, other than Jadeja, who's left-hand batter as well. He's left-hand bowler. But the similarities, Moeen Ali and Jadeja could all easily bat high in the order, and they are. So it's intriguing. It's almost exact carbon copies of each other's lineups. And I think India have done their homework and seen what England do on their home track and have emulated it.
You're right. I think they learnt from the World Cup final defeat.
Yep.
They needed to. And they've decided that they need, because they haven't got an all-rounder, Jadeja's their all-rounder, and that means they can't pick Ashwin. We've talked about this, haven't we? They would want to play Ashwin, but the balance means they just can't get him in, because they need that extra batter in the middle, and that's what it is.
Exactly. And let's take another step back. The similarity of, say, Chris Wokes and Shardul Thakur as well.
Yeah.
They're almost identical when you think about it, truly. One's a bit faster than the other, yes, but the reality is they play a similar role, almost the all-rounder role, but more of probably a bowling all-rounder rather than a batting all-rounder. It's intriguing how India's and England's so-called, and Root used the word template, as did Kohli. Either Kohli's copied Root or Root's copied Kohli. I'm assuming that Kohli has looked at Root's template and emulated it. It's rather clever. If a team's been playing on their home soil for decades and they pick a certain type of side for their conditions, why wouldn't you study that? And I think that's what India have done, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think they're a better side in the series, although the series is level. I think they have been the better side. I still think this will probably be a draw, though, Norman. I've got to be honest with you. I think if the pitch is flat, how many runs? I think India will carry on today and put a big lead on the board. And it's just how far they would want to be ahead to declare. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really, India should be declaring on or around T.
Yes, and they'll want 350 to 380, won't they?
I don't think they need 350 to 380.
No, but what they need and what they will do is a completely different matter.
I know. Australia and
no captain
notorious. They want to go 400. They want to go as big as they can to play the other team out of the victory. I get that. But I think 320 is going to be enough.
Well, that's the best option to be bowled out at tea time, Norman, then, isn't it? The best option is to be bowled out at tea time. They'll have another 150, and that'll be your 320 lead. And then
that's what they should be. If Kohli's got a bit of guts, I'd love him to do that. The
problem is if he declares at tea with 320, which he won't, but if he did, England could be 80 at the end of the day, could be 80 for naught, which means you're going into the last day needing 240, Norman. Oh, crumbs. I can't see it England.
But history tells you, the last time the winning score was scored anywhere, 263 was in 1902.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So I get what you're saying, but I seriously don't think England will get that sort of total. What I'm hoping happens is that India are bowled out and have a lead of 320.
I'd see. Yeah. That would be. Do you know what? For the game, from a completely neutral cricket stance, that would be the ideal scenario, wouldn't it? England.
And you know what? Honestly, I'll tell you now, India will not be declaring. They won't have the ability to declare post-T because they will be all out. My thoughts are.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with David Graveney as well. I think India will bat big today. I think the pitch will still be very flat, unless we take 2 quick wickets in the first hour. If we take 2 in the first hour, then you sort of be a little bit into the Indian tail, and that might be different. But I'm going to say that India will bat and score another 250 on what they've got. There you
But
go.
for that to happen, look, this exact same discussion we had in the previous test. Admittedly, England were well in front. They were 100 runs in front, I think, thereabouts. And they won by innings of 78 runs, okay?
Yeah.
There is a difference this time around. But Kohli coming in yet again after getting some runs yesterday is vulnerable early on. If they can get Kohli and because of James Anderson's skill, if they get Kohli and Rahane out and even Jadeja, that's 3 wickets very quickly. That leaves Punt and Shuttles out to scratch around and try and hit the ball out of the ground, maybe get 50 runs, and they could be all out by lunchtime and could have a lead of 2. But I'm not saying it's going to happen. But I actually believe they'll be all out by T. I reckon they're going to be. There's not going to be a choice of declaring. They're actually going to be all out.
Well, if it is, Norman, it's going to be a fantastic test. I think the wicket will deteriorate because it'll be a day 5 wicket tomorrow. It will deteriorate, but I don't think it's going to become a complete unbattable. And I think that a 320 chase could be very interesting.
I mean, look, yesterday's performance by India was absolutely superlatives. The way they batted was out of their skin. I actually don't think they can replicate that today.
Well, we'll see. But your predictions have been pretty rubbish for the whole year, Norman.
I beg your pardon. But look, so are you trying to tell me that India are going to be 470 today?
Yeah.
No, that's.
I think they'll declare 45 minutes before the end of the day. There you go. 45 minutes.
Okay. I think they'll be all out by. I think they'll be all out. They'll be all out by 2. They'll have a choice.
They're 270 now, aren't they? 270.
Yeah, 3 for 270.
Yeah, I think they'll score another 250 and declare. So that's 520. There you go, 520 and declare.
No. Another 150 is 420.
Oh, is it? Sorry, 273. No, another 250 on 270 is 520, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're not going to score 250. There's no way.
50 today, an hour after tea. I think they will. I think Pant will get a big score today, and he'll do it. If he does, he'll do it quickly, so the run rate could be good.
Oh look, I'm not taking away from the fact that I'd hope that to be the case, but I just don't. I mean, I'm completely backflipping from what you're saying. This is crazy.
Yeah, we're normally the other way round, aren't we?
Well, you're actually backing Punt to get runs. Where's your son? Get him on. He should be.
Well, I don't know.
Has the Lanzarote heat gotten to you or something? Have you been having too many? What's your drink of choice there?
I'm a rum drinker, Norman.
But even there?
Sorry, say again?
You're having Lanzarote rum? Are you having something which is unique to...
No, I don't think they do rum here. I don't think they make it on the island here. There's no sugar plantation, so it's pretty unlikely they'll make it. Are you drinking the local brew, though? The local stuff? The local beer is something you'll know. It tends to be San Miguel because it's Spanish.
Yeah.
And something called Dorado, so that's okay. Pretty decent. So I tend not to go much beyond that, Norman. I'm of the age where I've learnt what I can drink and what I can't drink. And we've been drinking some nice rosé wine. My wife likes a rosé, so.
Have you got a pool, a beach bungalow, or is it a pool bungalow?
We've got this. This is called the Penthouse Villa here. So it's got. I can show you the view I've got.
That would be good. Show us.
I don't know. Is that coming out? So that's
it. Is.
The
it
sea
is. I can see white houses.
And then the sea's. Oh, sorry, I've got a neighbour here. Sorry, the sea is beyond.
So how? It's about a kilometre away, the beach.
Less than that, I'd say. Probably less than that. Half a kilometre. It takes about 10 minutes to walk down there. So
from where you're seated, though, you can see the water calmly, and must be nice at night.
I can see the. And then from the other way, I think I showed you the other day. You saw the pools. So I'm about 30 yards from the swimming pool, from my door. So it's nice. It's a self-catering villa, so the restaurants are good.
So do you go? Is there like not that you're going to go clubbing, but is there like a?
Norman, what are you suggesting? I'm not
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just asking because with those glasses, you look like you've been clubbing all night.
I'm only wearing because it's a bit. If I take them off, it's very bright because everything's painted white, and so it's a bit bright for me.
That's right.
So
No,
where's Siddharth and Gul? Are they?
Well, I think they're all extremely busy. I think they're all getting the content. They've been extremely busy actually.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I've got 12,000, 13,000 people watching, they're obviously no. It's been good. It's been a good session.
I can't see the comments, the viewer comments, Norman. What are people saying? Are they backing in?
Some people are asking about seam or bounce. There's some discussion. Look, there were some pretty disgusting reports about the Taliban trying to find out where the women cricketers are in the country and stop them from playing. There's certainly been some issues around that. I tell you, there's been actually Pakistan have also played a match. If I'm not wrong, there was Bangladesh have given New Zealand a hiding. They're into the third match today. Pakistan are playing the West Indies at the moment. They're in, and I think it's in Antigua. So there's a fair bit of cricket going on. But what I can't understand is, I think there was an ODI match going on. I can't work that out. At least New Zealand Bengals playing T20s because of the World Cup. But New Zealand's lost the first two T20s and they're into the third stage.
B-side there, haven't they? I saw the team that they had out. It was not a full strength New Zealand team by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, but please explain to me then, why would you have a B team for a match leading up to a World Cup? That doesn't make any sense.
They just don't want to travel, Norman. I'm guessing that it's a travel issue. I mean,
but what's the point? If you're preparing for a World Cup, you'd want your players who are lying at World Cup to get as much T20 cricket under the belt, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't know what Morgan's planned for, because he's obviously, as you know, he calls the tune, doesn't he, Morgan, for the England side. I don't know.
There's no time. There's no time for England. They're playing Test cricket up until now. They're going straight. Most of the players are going straight to the IPL. And they'll be there, which is good because they get some T20 exposure, heavy duty stuff in line with the UAE. So the place to be is actually UAE as of the first IPL match is exactly 2 weeks away.
So Wokes is out. I think he's got an IPL contract. I'm sure he had. So Wokes will be out there, and Butler, one assumes, and Bairstow.
Well, this is where it's going to get interesting because the next Test match, which is billed for Manchester as an Old Trafford, is on September the 10th, going to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the last day of that match will be the 14th. They start the IPL on the 19th, which is 5 days between the end of the Test and the beginning of the IPL. And there's at least a 6-day quarantine for the players. So that's going to make it very tight for their timing. So I would assume when players know they're not in the 5th Test side, they're going to hot tail it straight to UAE. I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Norman, I'm going to love you and leave you if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine. There's only 20 minutes before the start of play. So thank you again.
Tell everyone from India that I haven't been ducking my responsibilities.
It was tongue in cheek at best. I thought it was very funny.
It made me laugh when I got back from dinner last.
And I put a little video in the the shorts of Munchie talking about weather, which I thought was very funny. Have a look at that when you have a chance.
Yeah, well, and I'll try and go on again if I can, win, lose or draw, and just to take the flack from all the Indian supporters. How's that? All right.
I'm proud of you.
Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Reg.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. There's a great photograph of Rohit Sharma's smile when he scored his 100. It is a magnificent. It was actually on Polite Inquiries. I rather like it. It's a great smile. Very, very nice smile. All right, we've got some 20 minutes before the start of the match. Human's here. Ban the spammers. Well, I'm going to look at them now. Binder. I use a timeout. I don't know. All right, guys, I'll deal with it now. So I'm going to deal with it now. We'll deal with it now, guys. So just make your comments. So when should India declare if it comes to that? bad light will be playing on Coley's mind. It will certainly be the case. You're right. I would argue that around tea today is the time they've got to consider declaring, because tomorrow maybe not enough time. If they've got to be around the 320 mark, I think India will do well today, but they may be all out by that stage, still having a very strong 320 plus lead, because I'm sure both even Jadeja, but certainly Shardul and Punt will go for it. They'll get quick runs, not long-term runs. So they'll get 50, 60, 70, 80 runs in the session, middle session, with about the same in the first session. That's about 160 runs. It's about 330 lead by tea. They'll declare, well, or be all out around that tea time, post-tea time session, have about an hour before the light goes bad, have a crack at England, and get as many wickets as possible. And they get 3 or 4 down, then they're in an incredible position to give them, make sure the last night they can win. That's my thoughts. But if they've lost very few wickets and they're in that 320 mode, they may bat longer, which won't necessarily help their performance. Gil, it's funny. We had David Graveney, and I made them both. Did you hear what happened? I made them both feel guilty. Did you see that? I sent them several texts of or photographs of comments saying, "Where are the Englishmen?" So Reg came from Lanzarote with his dark glasses, and David Graveney came in because David Graveney has been dealing with the England versus West Indies under-19 team, and I've got some great names that you and I need to be. I think it was Sammy Baker. Remember these names? Sammy Baker, the bowler. A guy called Jacob. Oh, I've forgotten his name already. Jacob, come to me. Jacob something, and a guy called Rue. They're the players which he's mentioned. 3 players, 2 batters and a bowler, which are going to be significant. They're very close to coming of age. How are you, Gil?
I'm good. I think the game slightly towards India after what happened yesterday, but England are still very well within a chance. India would probably need minimum of 80 runs, minimum of 250 to feel comfortable. Because this is also a good batting track, and India don't have Ashwin, so they have to account for it. But I think as an Indian, I would take anything over 250 lead, and if it reaches 300, then I think more than the Indian bowling attack or the pitch conditions, just that the psychological thing of England having to chase 300 is something that will play on their mind. What also, would give you confidence is that someone like Ben Stokes isn't there, who's known to play, some great innings out of nowhere. So, but I'm very happy that, in both these innings, India have promoted Jadeja up the order. Firstly, to break the monotony of all right-handers, it makes the bowlers think a little bit, and the second is obviously to ensure that whenever a couple of quick wickets have fallen, you don't send in always jittery Ajinkya Rahane. So hopefully this partnership is able to bat out the first hour and a half, hour for sure. And I do feel that if today a wicket falls early, then I think Ajinkya Rahane is going to come out and bat aggressively than just looking to hang around, because I feel at this point of time he knows that his days could be really numbered in the Indian setup. So he really needs to make a contribution, and I think he probably will need to break the shackles a little bit, probably play a few shots. If he does play those shots and they come off, then he will breathe a little easy on the pitch, because what India shouldn't be forgetting is that they already have a lead of 170, and Joe Root is known to be a defensive captain. We know what he did in Lords. Once India's lead had crossed 180, he started spreading out the fields because he was too afraid of leaking runs. So today, if even if 2 overs go wherein India have had a couple of boundaries, the pressure would be immense on Joe Root. And so I feel if India are able to bat out the first half hour, then England would start to feel the heat, because the first half hour would mean that England have bowled somewhere around 7 to 8 overs, and the new ball would have lost its hardness, because there's not much sideways movement happening. It's only happening when the spinners are bowling outside the rough. So the first half hour, like always, is crucial. But India should back themselves. India should back themselves to be able to put on at least, like I said, 80 to 100 runs. And if that happens, then you'd have to say that India are the favorites, because you have to account for England having to bat fourth, and with the amount of pressure that is on their batting lineup, despite the depth that they have, I think India would feel a lot more confident.
Well said, well said. But Gil, I think statistically though, India are around 50 to 55% winning chance. England are only around 15 to 20% winning chance, and the draw is actually higher than England's chance of winning at this point in the game. Now, if you unpack that, the reality is the highest score in the fourth innings to win the match on this ground is 263 in 1902.
That's what I'm
So,
saying. That's what I'm saying. So
that
if
really, that as you said, a 250 total will almost wipe England's chances out. Even though they may have enough time to do it, it's very statistically unlikely. And realistically, betting until tea will mean that they're playing tomorrow. Well, they'll have bad light probably in the last hour anyway, the way that's gone. So they'll only probably play for an hour this evening. That is England. And that's going to be, if India get 3 wickets, 4 wickets, it's gone. It'll be a bit of a mess. It's a really intriguing match. You're saying 250. I think they need 320, to be honest with you. And I think they've got a chance of getting that.
I'm saying 250 is the least. Anything under that would be disappointing, because if it's 250, then they'll have at least the psychological edge. With 300 plus, India can attack a lot more with 300 plus, because let's not forget that even Virat also doesn't like to leak any runs. He's the first one to put a sweeper on straight away. He did that even in Lords, where England had no chance of chasing it when they had to score at 4.5. So that is the thing. You'd hope that by lunch India are batting at least. I think as an Indian fan, I would like them to bat at least an hour after lunch minimum. If anything more, then you'd know that India are quite comfortable. But like I said, anything before 250, England should give themselves a chance, because there's not much happening off the pitch. They have batting till number 10. Overton also bats. Robinson's decent. Vokes, we already know what he does. Moeen Ali can bat as well. So there's enough batting depth. And what you also have to account for, that this isn't India's first string bowling attack. Outside of Bumrah, all the three pacers struggle for control. Uh, all three of them could bowl Jaffas, or all three of them could bowl on both sides of the stumps. So that is something that should give England a lot of hope. That because we saw that in the last innings as well. That once the pitch stopped assisting any movement, all three of Siraj, Shardul, and Umesh were taken for runs. And I think the fact of, I've said it before, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the three of them didn't test England on the outside edge enough. Everything from three of them was coming in, and in. It wasn't going out, which is something what the England bowlers have done quite well over the last two test matches, and Robinson has done it with ease. He's flew under the radar. We don't realize it, but he's taken 20 wickets already at an average of 19. And to do that in a series where you have Bumrah as well as Anderson, who are probably one of the two best bowlers in terms of the pedigree that they have, is a huge achievement. So I think England do need to take care of Robinson as well after this test match, because he's played all four of them. He's probably bowled 130 plus overs, and by the time this innings ends, he would have bowled 140, if not 150 overs at least. The one
I
thing,
don't know whether Robinson's in the short format. He's not in the short format, is he? He's not selected in the T20 squad, I don't think.
No, he's not there. No, he's in. But
So, they've got
the
depth.
one thing,
England have got depth, haven't they? Saki Mahmood, of course, they've got Robinson there, Ollie Stone when he's back, when he's fit. Mark Wood's still going to be around. Anderson and Broad will have their day not long away where they're going to stop. Great depth.
There's another thing, which obviously we can say with the benefit of hindsight, is that with the benefit, okay, so there's an update coming that Shastri has been tested COVID positive in the
Where
comments.
did you see that?
It's in the comments.
In my comments.
Yeah.
Okay, Human, if you've seen that, where have you seen that? That would be huge news. My God, that is scary. Well, there's nothing hitting the airways yet that I can see.
Yeah,
Can you
it
see
says
them?
that. Yeah, last
Are you
evening,
good?
Cricinfo has tweeted it. Cricinfo has tweeted it. So yeah,
Well, that's quite disturbing, isn't it? Because that could really destabilise their fifth test players, couldn't it?
yeah. I mean, in today's time, there's obviously the video conferencing and everything.
Hang
So
on. Narayani Shastri tested positive for COVID-19, not Ravi Shastri. So I'm not seeing any evidence of anything saying that was earlier this year. Are we getting people's names mixed there? Ravi.
Cricinfo has tweeted. Cricinfo
All
has
they're saying
tweeted
is that he's got. Or they've done. Send me that link, would you? Because I'm not seeing. COVID hits India and England. Support staff members test positive. That was back in July. I'm not seeing anything about Shastri. Where are you seeing this?
They've tweeted it 4 minutes ago. 4 minutes.
Can you send it to? Can you send it to? Is that the BCCI? I've done that.
Cricinfo has tweeted it. Cricinfo.
Well, but not BCCI.
No, not BCCI yet.
That could really put a cap. Could they stop a match midstream?
No, I don't think so.
All I've got here is you've put a. Can you send me the link?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
To Facebook. Oh, you've sent it to. They sent it to the. Is it here? What? Hang on. Can you see me?
No.
Hang on. Let me just I'm trying to do something with this. Hang on. Trying to retweet it. Okay. His lateral flow. What is this? It's a bizarre thing. I've never seen something. All right. I've just retweeted. Okay. You there?
Yeah.
I'm back. All right. I'll have a look at that. I find that a bit of an incredible situation. Wow, that's breaking news big time, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, so what I was talking about was that probably England, and we can say this with the benefit of hindsight, that probably England would have been well suited to play a Jack Leach in place of Moeen Ali, because Moeen Ali's not done enough with the bat, and we know that he's not a better bowler than Jack Leach anyway. So yeah, I think maybe this is something that they can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's also Adam Hollyoak's 50th birthday. He's not going to want us to talk about that. There's Chloe Ann Amanda. Chloe Amanda. Chloe Amanda. So, all right, I'll just put that. Okay, so talk on.
I guarantee you Sam is ready to go next week when Ronaldo returns. I guarantee you that.
I just need to try to put this on silent. How do I put this on silent? Okay, all right. So let's get back to this. So that's quite an incredible statement, isn't it? What does that mean? What can we make of this? Can we make anything of that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, at this point, if they're in isolation, the team will continue to finish the game. I don't think it's going to change. But Ravi Shastri himself. So does that mean all the other players have also? Okay. Rasputin says his staff will get isolated 5 minutes ago, as per his quick news. So the staff get isolated. Does that affect the players? Because they were in close proximity to Ravi Shastri, certainly through this match.
All of them have returned. The players have returned negative. BCCI has made a press release.
Yeah, but okay, if the players okay, they might be negative, but if they've been in contact with someone that's positive, they'll have to be isolated.
They've taken two tests as per the BCCI release. They've taken two tests, one last evening and one in the morning. Only once when they've returned negative, all the players have returned negative. Have they've allowed the game to go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to do something rather unusual here. This is a first. There's a Twitter show going on at the same time here, and I'm going to be rather cross-interactive for a moment. We'll see whether that works. This will be a first.
Well, then if that is happening, then I should leave now.
No, you shouldn't leave. I want you to be a part of this. Because do you know who Chloe Amanda is?
Yeah, I've seen her on Twitter. I've seen her do some reporting. So yeah, I've heard of her. Anyway, the game's about to begin.
Is it? Oh, about 5 minutes. All right. I might hang on a second. Hi, Chloe. It's Norman. It's Norman here. How are you? I'm doing something rather unusual, guys. I'm actually live on my YouTube program as I'm live with you on Twitter. This is rather unusual. I've got a YouTube audience cross-pollinating here and listening to what you're saying and vice versa. This is a rare, I hope you don't mind.
I've got mine YouTube. I've got mine podcast, Norman. That's fine by me.
All right, guys. So it's nice to join you. This is a fantastic day. I've been speaking with a young gentleman here, Gurkrat Singh Gill, who's a great commentator. We've been talking at length about the Rohit Sharma-esque performance that we saw. It's one in a million. It's been fantastic to watch. Scoring the six the way he did was beyond belief. India to win and win handsomely is my thoughts. Although Gurkrat Singh Gill is a bit more conservative, he's not so over the top, but I certainly am. I think India are going to win and win handsomely. Seeing it's been since 1902 that a team's got to score anywhere near 263. So there you go.
Yeah, I agree with that, Norman.
All right, guys.
Trying to get Chandresh. Just a minute.
All right, guys.
Sunny, go ahead with your prediction, buddy.
Chandresh, speaker, please. Yeah, I'm taking.
I'll come on in a bit of a time, Chloe. It's nice to join you guys. It's wonderful. I love listening to what you.
Thanks, Norman. Enjoy the match.
Bye. Okay. All right. Done. Just a little 5-minute thing. All right. So, okay. Predictions for today.
India to add around 100 runs or 120, or I think India will set a target somewhere between 250 to 300, and then they'd have England 2 or 3 down by the end of the day.
Again, you're saying England will be 2 or 3 down.
Yeah.
And how much lead will India have?
Around somewhere around 270 to 300, or maybe you could say somewhere between 250 to 300.
So they'll have let's say close to 300 lead, and in turn 3 down. And does that mean you're predicting India will win?
Yes, as of now, you have to say that India are ahead in the game and they should win. But funny things have happened. So
no, it's So Chloe Amanda Bailey, she's a relatively well-known journalist in Australia and seems to be getting a lot of traction in India. Has 116,000 followers on a tweet on Twitter, quite a substantial following. Although I don't know what you think of Twitter as opposed to YouTube. Having 100,000 on Twitter, does that equal 20,000 on YouTube? What's the comparison to you in terms of coverage? Because don't forget, subscribers on YouTube, the followers are much larger than the subscribers in terms of numbers.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how you can equate the two, honestly. Yeah. Anyway, now I think it's time
All right,
to go.
thank you, Gil. So you and I and Monty need to talk. Okay, you and I and Monty need to talk off air. So we'll talk about what we're going to do. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you, Gil. Thank you again. I'll talk to you either post game or tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I just thought I'd try something on Twitter. I apologise for butting in like that. But anyway, the game's about to start. We've got an incredible situation where both Virat Kohli and obviously Jadeja are in bat. They're 171 in front. A good 100 plus. We'll see a match become more and more swaying in India's favour. And that'll be extremely exciting. And I think we'll all certainly see a lot of that. So it's a great situation to be in that position. 3 for 270, 171 in front. First hour and first session will be crucial. We'll have a situation there where, so Ravi Shastri has been given, Ravi Shastri has been vaccinated, by the way, even though he's got COVID-19. It's not as dramatic as we might think. It generally works out quite successfully. He may well, the exposure is intriguing because I thought they were in a bubble. So I don't quite know how that happens when the entire squad and team and coach are in a bubble. Has it been lax the way that it's been approached in India? In England, I don't know, but it doesn't look as good as it should be, and that's a bit of a disappointment, I must say. But yeah, anyway, guys, the match has started. We'll go on a bit more. Rahul has been fined for what? What has Rahul been fined for? Pawan Kumar, tell us. Yeah, the Ravi Shastri situation certainly is dramatic, and we'll see more into that very shortly. Obviously, England are out there in the field. Robinson's about to start the day's play, and we'll be able to watch it from there. So, guys, again, Ravi Shastri has been tested positive for COVID-19. It looks as though he's the only one in the squad. Some of the staff members around him have been quarantined in conjunction with him. But none of the players have tested positive. There's no evidence of anything untoward about the players. They seem to be acting as per normal. So the match will probably play out, but it will be interesting to see what happens in the last test because Ravi Shastri is a coach. If he's tested positive for COVID-19, he'll have to be isolated, and that will encroach on the 5th test, which will mean that they'll have to deal with the situation of the coach being out of sight, out of mind of the players. Obviously, they can still be in contact with him by way of Zoom or other communication tools like we're using, say, with StreamYard. So that would be a likely situation. So, yes, with India 3 for 270 and Shastri not there, a bit of a dent. They like to have their coach floating around there, but if he'd be in isolation, probably in his hotel room or in a separate location, which will be intriguing how that will actually pan out. So it's a great day. Root looks very happy. The day looks particularly sunny. It's not as overcast as they first would have expected, which will hopefully support the batsmen of both Kohli and obviously Jadeja. It looks decidedly sunnier than I would have first thought. So 171 lead is certainly there. Okay. Where are you getting the finding? Is it KL? Yeah, I'd like to know about this finding of KL Rahul, guys. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Obviously, I'm dealing with the show, so I can't really comment. KL has been fined 50% of his match fee for what? For dissent? What did he actually do? Please, someone come across and tell me what Rahul has done. It was a dissent in the locker room. What has he done? Interesting. I've not seen no evidence of what he's done. Okay, he's been fined 15% of his match fee. That won't bother him at all. It doesn't sound a very serious matter at all. But the Ravi Shastri matter certainly is. It will put a cat amongst the pigeons of their makeup without a doubt, and it's certainly is an interesting thing. So Ravi Shastri at Jadeja, 3 careers so far. He scored 56 at Trent Bridge, a 40 and a 3 at Lords, a 4 and a 30 at Headingley, and 10 now. He's 9 not out. So he has a bit to prove with his batting. He scored 50 in the very first match, which was very exemplary, but since then he hasn't. So, guys, we'll be turning to the match now. Any last comments before the match? Predictions are that I'm thinking 320, and either India will be bowled out or they'll go close to declaring at some stage after tea, and they'll give England an hour to play to bat, and then a day to bat it out. And no team's got near 300 in a day, so there'll be a double chance. Or then India might be very tough and may want to bat right through the day and make it impossible for England to win, making it 1-1 or making a deciding test in the last test. That'll be a bit of a pity because I'd like to see a result here. Yeah, the sun is peeping out of the oval, correct? Give Ravi some old battle whiskey here. We're fine. Okay. Must be a better batting day. You'd think so. You'd think the conditions would certainly suit the batting much better than this is a different fourth day. The overcast conditions are not there, so it will be distinctly in the favour of their team. So Kohli is 23. Okay. What if the final match cancelled as precaution due to unfortunate COVID-19 in India's squad? Will it mean India will win the series 2-1, or the series considered to be a continual unfinished? I think it'll be ended there. There'll be no reprogramming of the fifth test. No, it'll be, if that's what. But India may have to have a complete. It may be a great moment to blood a lot of the young blokes, if that's what they do. Now, at this point, because the coaches under COVID-19 has to isolate immediately, and the coaching staff around him. But you would argue the players may be in the same boat because they've had close contact with him throughout the test match, haven't they? Or whether there's been a deliberate distancing between the coach and the players to be precautionary, I don't know. Now, Tim Welton Davies, COVID numbers are still high in Britain, but people are surviving because of vaccine. That's fine. The survival rate's fine, but I'm talking about the players that have been in his proximity. I guess they're all in a bubble anyway, but do they have to further isolate away from everyone? But are they already doing that? Will they be allowed to play another test? It's going to be interesting. If they're all tested negative and they've kept Shastri away, there may be sufficient time to allow them to be away permanently from the coach and continue playing, which won't affect the playing group at all. That's probably what's going to be the case. So if that is what we're talking about. KL has been fined for showing dissent for a decision being given out by the umpire. 15%. Okay. It's not good, but it's not the end of the world either. Okay, I find it rather hard. It is a plan England to stop India win. Well, let's hope not. India will collapse again. I hope not. Kunal Abhishek. Rahul complaining to on-field umpire is daft. Third umpire made the DRS decision. Exactly. Totally agree. Very intriguing. I don't think it's a plan to Samantha Shastri at all for England to stop. That's not the case. Buckle data, rain has no effect here. The day is as clear as a bell. It'll be a great play. So I think that'll be just about it, guys. All right, guys, we've got to stop now. The game has actually started. So we've got Anderson bowling to Kohli, and the weather looks fantastic, and the conditions look great for batting, and India should successfully get a decent lead, you would think. So we'll stop there. I want you all to remember to view, like, and share the posts. Bangladesh and New Zealand T20 also have been played the third match. Enjoy the game, Tim. Thank you. Thank you, Norman. Thank you. Yeah. So view, like, and share the post. My Twitter is at Norm Kotzer, and my Twitter and also my Instagram are at Norm Kotz. Eyes on Green with Norm Kotz. I think it's my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you're there now, and notification. We'll have a session post-match today, or post-day 4. I'm not saying post-match. I don't think the match will be over today. So post-day 4 and pre-day 5 and post-day 5. All live shows with a media conference as well. So anyone there, the 46 to the left here now, I will consider that buckled. Okay, so good. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Go and watch the match. It's 3 for 274, a lead by 175. All looks good for India. Thank you, guys. We'll talk post-match.